place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
It's an addiction. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
Indians fans, GV Art and Design has unleashed their new baseball collection. This summer, you've got to have one of the hottest baseball shirts available. Indians themes, GV Art has them covered from top to bottom. Chief Wahoo, keep the Chief, one of the hottest sellers going today. GV Artwork, knocking it out of the park, teaming up with Michael Brantley to create a custom Dr. Smooth t-shirt, bringing back an old classic. GV Artwork, bringing out the wild thing. Give them the heater design. The Cleveland That I Glove collection continues to grow. New designs for women and so much more. GVArtwork.com, bringing it full force to the plate for baseball season this year. Whether you check them out online, GVArtwork.com, use the sales code FIX10, FIX10 to save 10% on your total purchase. Whether you go to their store in Lakewood, check them out at the Cleveland Indians team shops around Progressive Field and so much more. GV Art and Design. It's not just a shirt, it's a statement.
The Sports Fix is on iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeart app today. Subscribe to the show and get your fix.
In baseball, miracles can happen when a team works together.
2 out, bottom of the ninth.
Down to their last strike.
The same is true in the fight against cancer. That's why MLB has teamed up with Stand Up to Cancer. Because we believe that when we all stand up together,
41,000 on their feet.
we can make cancer history.
Now everybody's standing.
What a buzz in this building.
This is beyond a dream. Stand up with MLB at standuptocancer.org.
You're listening to The Sports Fix.
This is a man's world. This is a man's world.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. Yeah, segment 2, just now getting cracking here. 10 minutes to hour 2, but that's okay, man. Hey, I told you, it's been a crazy morning, so no reason for the afternoon to be any differently. Welcome back in. J-Rock with you here across the Sports Fix Radio Network. Getting ready to be joined on the phone line by my man, Dan Wismar. Going to have him jump in even a little bit early here. Before we even get, I'll tell you what, Buckeyes fans, we're going to dive into all of that when hour 2 kicks off here. But I want to spend the rest of this hour here kind of circling back on some of the stuff we've been talking about with Dan. Of course, obviously the Indians, we spent some time on that. And I'm telling you, man, I could be wrong. They could go out here and lose 4 in a row and make me wrong and just match the winning with the losing. But last night felt to me like maybe, just maybe, that's the one that is the push through. Like, you need that breakthrough one, man, and maybe that's it. But I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the Browns and Brian Hoyer. The world is losing their mind at least outside of Cleveland, losing their mind right now. My man Ron just tweeted out the first picture of a season-long media-fueled quarterback controversy here with Brian Hoyer. And I saw some funny stuff. Most people half expected ESPN's headline to be Manziel wins Browns backup job instead of Hoyer wins Browns starting job, just because, that's the way it goes over there, especially on the 4-letter network. But we're talking about all of that. Since Dan's on the phone, you can't be, but you can continue the conversation on Facebook and Twitter and email. Facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at the Sportsfix CLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. Going to the phones, Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan. Dan, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great, J-Rock. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. I'm even better, regardless of who the guy is, that there is a guy coming out of Berea, and that the next 2 weeks of our conversations are not going to be dominated by those two names, instead about what's important, which is this a good football team, and will they be ready for Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's true, and it is rather a relief. I thought last night, and I have a habit of watching PTI when I get home from the office at 5:30, and I thought Wilbon and Kornheiser, as much as they've contributed to the unwarranted frenzy about Johnny, I thought Wilbon finally last night got it right when he said, let's face it, there is nothing about the Cleveland Browns right now that is worthy of the overkill of national media attention that has been, lavished on them for the last several weeks and months. There is nothing newsworthy right now after that performance Monday night that justifies the overkill of media coverage of the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation. Nothing at all about the Cleveland Browns is that newsworthy that we need to be paying this much attention to. And I thought, amen, thank you. Where have you been for the last 2 months?
Well, especially because that's what's dominating. Now, I do think that on the other side of the ball, if you want to, there is some stuff that people could pay attention to defensively. Matter of fact, the NFL itself sent out a tweet in the last day or two where they vined out the four down goal line stand for the Browns. But I think even they said something in that tweet to the effect of, everybody was focused on the quarterbacks, but the Browns may have a defense here. And I think that is the kind of thing that's been ignored so far for all the talk of the struggles offensively is that, man, this team may win a few games 3-0 this year, brother.
Yeah, that's true, and I like what I saw in the defense, and Gruden made the point, and they did make the point, but let's face it, this is still a 4-12 team coming off a 4-12 season that will make headlines when they make them, not when they, don't earn them. And just, he finally woke up to the idea that all the attention has been basically unwarranted, and right now there's nothing particularly special about the Cleveland Browns situation, let alone their quarterback deal. So, yeah, I think he finally got around to it. But it's a little surprising. I think maybe in the history of the NFL, no starting quarterback has won his job with a lousier performance than Brian Hoyer won his job with.
I don't think he won his job. He didn't lose his job. It was his job from day one, man. I just think
that's right. That's right. And I'm glad they made the decision that they made. And the timing of the announcement, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. Yes, he could have waited, but he kind of backed himself into a corner.
He had to.
By announcing when he was going to do it. And yes, this team does need to get ready. And Kyle Shanahan maybe is the guy who came in for far less criticism than I think maybe he should have, because who's responsible for the way the offense looks any more than he is? So I thought he kind of skated by without a lot of criticism that would have been fairly justified of just not having that offense ready to go. And again, the disclaimer, of course, it was the second game of the exhibition season, and you don't expect to be running like a finely tuned machine in the second game of the exhibition season. But you also expect not to go out and embarrass your fans in your city on national television on Monday Night Football with that kind of a display of ineptitude on offense. So,
and you know what? Here's the thing, Dan, is like, are you with me on what I said? Let's just look at the opening series of that game the other day with Hoyer. And this is where I say the problem is beyond the quarterback. It's with the offense, whether it's with the how people are understanding it or if it's in the play calls and the translation, because you had Jordan Cameron make a mistake on the first play. You had Alex Mack make a mistake on the first play. You had Mitchell Schwartz make a mistake on the first play. I mean, you can say, well, that's the quarterback's job, but last I checked, they have 30 seconds at most in the huddle to get that thing together. And so clearly it wasn't Brian Hoyer's job to tell Jordan Cameron, Alex Mack, and Mitchell Schwartz what to do on the first play of the game. That says to me that the problem is all of them. It's the offense is not being understood.
My point exactly, that the burden is on Kyle Shanahan, the man whose job it is to coordinate that offense. I will even simplify it further and say that it was Alex Mack's fault, because if Jordan Cameron's in motion, like he's supposed to be, and the snap comes one count early, then it looks like Jordan Cameron was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Really, he wasn't. Same thing with Mitchell Schwartz. He's waiting for the actual snap count, not the one that they snapped the ball on, and he would have been up and out of his stance and would have prevented the sack had the snap come on the right count. So in other words, the bad snap made Cameron look bad, made Schwartz look bad, make them both look like they didn't do their jobs right when there's really no reason to assume that they did do their jobs wrong. And the same with Hoyer. He got blamed for the offense not being finely tuned when he, on the second or third play of the game, when he hits Jordan Cameron right in the hip.
In the numbers.
And Jordan Cameron
right
isn't
there.
even watching for the ball to count. So how is that Brian Hoyer's fault? By the same
and that
token,
was the other thing that I said was that.
Yeah, he got a lot of blame for things that weren't his fault. Hoyer did. Of course, aiming the next pass on 3rd and 1 at his receiver's ankles didn't help either. So he was not devoid of blame for the way things went. It made several bad throws, and even you and I, we probably count ourselves among the top Brian Hoyer supporters in this town. But you and I both also have to admit that he looked like crap that night.
Absolutely.
He kind of did not get the job done as the starting quarterback should. So you don't want to put too much blame on him. At the same time, you don't want to catch yourself alibiing for that performance either.
I just can't wait until we're into the actual games, and this is why. And it doesn't matter. Again, you could change out the name Manziel or Hoyer or whatever, but even with Hoyer, I mean, even if you go out there and you look at the Browns' offense in general, yes, they did switch quarterbacks, but for the most part, the majority of the players were the same throughout the first half. It wasn't until later that they started switching out to some of the second-string guys. So the quarterbacks weren't remarkably better, yet the offense did at least, by drive 3, start to get on the same page a little bit more, slightly better. So some of that, I think, comes with, because we've seen guys, and I'm not in any way making excuses. Hoyer has to get it together this week. But there's been plenty of times in the NFL where teams stink for the first quarter, for the first couple of drives. Then they get out there, they wake up, they have a real nice drive, and you go, hey, all right, now the team's back and playing and all of that. That's one of the things that come when you don't switch out after a quarter or whatever, And I still think, and that's why I want to see this weekend, even more than the first week, 2 weeks away, is just now that I don't have to worry how many plays have I ran. Is Johnny ready? Does he got the helmet on, or they pull it? Forget it. If that was in Hoyer's mind, it's not anymore. And Mike Pettin, to me, needs to pull Brian Hoyer aside privately tonight, tomorrow, whatever, and say, I don't give a damn what's on ESPN. I don't care what Mary Kay says. I don't care what they put on the front of the plain dealer. You are my quarterback until there's a reason for me to make a change. You go out there every week and do your job, and you'll still be my quarterback in Week 16. He has to believe that Mike Pettin has got faith in him. Even if he knows that come the bye week, if they're 0-3, that's fine. But Mike Pettin has to look him in the eyes and say, listen, the only person that can take this away from you is you. Just go out there and play football and win us some football games. And that, I'm hoping, will make a little bit of a difference. I'm not expecting Joe Montana to show up. I just want Brian Hoyer to show up and not kill us and get us in the right position.
Yeah, that's right. And you know that this decision that was announced today was not based on the first and second quarters on Monday night. It was based on Brian Hoyer's experience. It was based on 3-0 in the games he started last year. It was based on every practice that they've watched so far this summer. So, that's what the decision was based on, and that's what it should have been based on, not a handful of plays on Monday night against the Redskins. So if people don't get that, and people don't want to believe that, or people disagree with that, that's all well and good. Mike Pettin's in the game in his job and in the profession to win football games, and it's ridiculous to suggest that he's doing something that he, in his heart of hearts, doesn't believe is working towards that goal. So, I'm glad it's put to rest. I am a little bit surprised, though, Jerry, that the veteran Hoyer, the guy who sort of has the rep as being sort of the cool head and the professional, and that he came out and really did sort of lay an egg when he had an opportunity to really seize it, and just didn't. I'm thinking particularly about the third and short throw at the feet of the receiver, the missing a wide open Andrew Hawkins in the end zone when he should have had an easy touchdown. Those kinds of things where you expect the veteran, the professional to come through and make those throws at the time he's supposed to make them. We've seen him make them. We know he can make them. So why he kind of